Hey quilters, it's Marianne Fontana again. I'm working on another project. You may know I like to do photography. I will a lot of times just photograph things and play with the pictures. Last June, for my husband's birthday, I bought him flowers. And then I proceeded to take like 100 pictures of them. Anyway, but I really wanted to try to reproduce those large flower quilts. If you see that they sell the panels of, and everybody does that real decorative thread painting on it. Well, that's what I did. I took those images and I blew them up to be 36 inches by 36 inches. And I've been thread painting them, and I'm on my last one. And I think I've done 7 so far in a couple different techniques. So this is the quilt, and right now I'm using a kind of sort of goldish tan thread. I'm using a solid color thread, and I'm just going around the daisies, and I'm filling in a little bit of the shading. I was just working on here. I've done this section over here, and now I'm going to come over and I'm going to do this. And I've actually done this one already. I'm going to kind of start meandering over to the other one, but I just kind of like to get my feel for the machine for a minute. And then I'll go around. I like to outline first and kind of follow what I think is about the flow. And I'll go back up, and I'm going to go up this way so I can get some thread in. And I'm just kind of following the colors that are there. You know, it's yellow, so it may be a little bit hard to see. Some of the other ones I did were a little bit more vivid colors. But anyway, so I'm going to come down a little, do a little here. I like to be able to do this little tiny detail back and forth and come over a couple times. Just thicken it up. And come down. I'm going to kind of jump over here just because I see the color. And I'm just following the colors that are printed. And what I did is I took the photograph and I put it in Photoshop and I manipulated it. And I did what I called line drawing. Oh, did you see that? A piece of dust just fell off my machine. Look at that. And I go clean it all the time. Just goes to show you how much thread builds up. So always clean. I'm actually oiling my machine every 3 or 4 bobbins because I do heavy quilting. And I'm also cleaning out the bobbin case every time I change the bobbin because I'm using cotton and it throws off a lot of lint. And it is a little bit awkward for me because I have the handle raised high so it's not in the way of the camera. But I found, since, as I said to you, I think I've done 7 of these. And this is my 8th one. And if you're asking me why am I doing so many of them, well, I made the pixelization when I did the thing on Photoshop. It looked kind of cool. So I printed one. And then I printed another one. I did another one called Mosaic, which is more like a cubism kind of thing, which I have 2 of those done. I'll show you. I think there's a blue and also a yellow one. We'll go across here. Well, this angle is a little harder for me to do, so I'm going a little slower. I'm also looking to see how close I am to the camera. I want you to see, but obviously I don't want to knock it over. I think that's looking pretty good. And obviously I have a stitch regulator, so this makes it just so cool. Okay, and this is my series called Daisies. Okay, and this is the last in the series. And I have a little more work to do. But let's go look at one more quick shot. That's the actual entire piece on my long arm. Okay, so here they are. Okay, so this is the orange one. What I did, I'm going to show it a little closer. I did a couple different colors. This was actually, but you can see it's fairly heavily quilted. All right, and there's a couple different colors. I think I used 4 or 5 different color threads on it. I've used all cotton, just because I find that if I use the cotton and I get a little wonky with my seams and it goes into the light area, I can color it in, and then I'm not disappointed in it. All right, so that was the orange. And then I did a teal. The teal is the only one that was not an actual photograph. I did take a blue photograph, and I played with the colors, and I came up with the teal. And this one actually, the orange one was on a very pale yellow background. This series has colored backgrounds, some of them. And the teal I did on a light gray background. And again, it's the same kind of thread work I did on all of them. So that's the teal. So this is the lavender one. And actually, I have to tell you, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I think it is my favorite. Just the way the thread play worked on it, I thought it came out pretty good. So that is the lavender. And again, these are all the ones using the line drawing feature. And there's blue. Okay, so that is the last of the ones that are just thread play. Just turn this around. You know, I did quilt the entire thing, and then there are parts of it where I have little tiny circles and lines and a lot of shading. So I think they came out pretty cool. I'm actually pleased with them. Then I did some, there's still the line drawing, but instead of just using only thread, I put some thread play on it, and then I couched it with yarn. So it really makes the outlines pop. And so I did thread play, not as much as I had done on the others, but then I couched it in yarn. You can see. Okay, and I did the pink one like that. And then, of course, if you have a pink one, I didn't want it to be all by itself. So I made a companion. I made a green one to go with it. So 2 of them. This one, actually, I used a cotton yarn. You know the crochet yarn you use when you make pot holders and things like that, the pure cotton? That's what I used for that one. I think I like the cotton better. The other one was done with acrylic. Then I went back to my computer, back to Photoshop. I took off the line drawing, and I did Mosaic. And so it came out, and this was actually my original idea, and I do like the line drawings better, but this is Mosaic. And this is more of a mosaic looking. So you see, it's like all, and again, it was printed on whole cloth with the designs that I created. I went and had them printed, and then I did a yellow one. So I think I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I forgot the gold one, the one I was working on that I showed you. Okay, well, we'll have to go back, and I'll go get that one. I'll show you. So here's the last one. I finished the gold one that I had up on the machine, and I hope you like it. I think it's kind of cool. Actually, that's upside down. How could I tell? Well, because I put the hangers on the other side. I do that so I can hang them up. I find it's easy. I put these little inexpensive hangers. But that is the gold one of the daisies, and that completes the entire collection. I printed these through a company called Spoonflower. And I actually have all the daisy designs on my shop, Fontana Originals on Spoonflower. And it's kind of tricky what you have to do if you want to buy a panel. You can buy a mosaic panel or a line drawing panel that's just plain, not been worked, like the one I had on the long arm that I showed you. That's the way it would come. And you'd have to order 1 yard of pearl cotton, and you'd have to make sure that the daisy's on the largest zoom, so when you look at the yard, you just see the one flower. But anyway, that's it. I'm really excited. I've never done a series this long before, but I thought it would be fun to share. Hope you enjoyed this. Happy quilting.